It was a little glitchy for some reason.
So just unplug it for a second and plug it back. There we go. Okay, yes. Hello and welcome to Indiepocalypse Radio, your number one home for indie unmarketables. I am your host, Andrew, the creator and etc. of Indiepocalypse, and it is our inaugural, perhaps, ska night. I accidentally, coincidentally, made that opening playlist purely chronological after I decided, what tracks do I want and how do they flow together? And then they happen to flow together chronologically speaking. I don't know if that's just like the beautiful nature of the evolutionary nature of ska, or if that is like me being a top level DJ accidentally. But anyway, that's enough about me and ska, and there's a lot to say about it, but we can't talk about it all night. And we are here with our first guest, who you may know from issue number 8. Nope, I did that in the opposite order. Issue number 14, you are in reverse order on my question list. Issue number 14 of Indiepocalypse with Skate RPG. It's Daniel Dante. Daniel Dante, how are you doing?
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it is a pleasure to have you here on the show. I forgot to tell. Listen, I'm getting into the rhythm of the host, and I forgot one of my things that I was saying. But let's put that aside for now, and get to the other important thing I always say, which is, "Hey, how'd you hear about Indiepocalypse?"
Good question. I think it was with Twitter, but I'm not really sure, to be honest. Because I don't have any social media presence,
Right.
except Twitter. I'm pretty much only on Twitter. I have an Instagram, but I don't really use it that much. I'm trying to use it more because I can't rely on one billionaire because
Yes.
if
Right.
he goes down, then I'm fucked basically.
Yeah. No, I
So
recently went into my Instagram and uploaded all the past issues on there, and I'm starting to use that somewhat more actively. But
yeah, I think it's a good idea to put your bet on more horses in that case because uh, just focus on one thing, and if this thing, in case Twitter goes down, then
yeah.
I'm pretty much screwed.
Right.
I'm
Right.
trying to use other social medias, but I think I come to know in the apocalypse with Twitter. I think it was probably a game that a mutual put it on,
Oh,
maybe.
perhaps.
I'm a mutual follower with Natalie Lawhead,
Yes.
and she likes and retweets things about Apocalypse. So maybe that was
Yes.
the way, but I'm not really sure.
Yes.
But I listened to an episode with Kaique Assis,
Yes.
the, and he's
Very,
also
very early.
Brazilian.
Yes.
Yes, he's a mutual on Twitter too,
Okay.
and he played Skit RPG,
Yes.
and he even commented on my page. He was pretty great. So maybe Kaiki, maybe Natalie Lawhead. I'm not really sure.
Yeah. There's a lot of like. I'm realizing that there's like an invisible social network, whatever, spawning around this thing. Not like a big exciting community, but people becoming more aware of one another, even if that doesn't mean that they're like always hanging out with each other. You know, it's like
Yeah,
which I think is like good. Perhaps I think it's nice to be aware of someone and not have to like constantly be always aware of them and thinking about them all the time and things being like an active community, so to speak.
and the way that I see it's not really an active community. It's more like uh, people angry at capitalism. People
Yes.
like so we tend to focus our hate, our passion, on our games in specific things, and then we like bump into each other once
Yeah.
in a while.
And that's honestly, bumping into people once in a while is how I like it.
Yeah, I wish it was more like an active community, you know.
Yeah, sure. I
But
that's something.
but
Something.
it- but it's but it's not what it looks like.
Yeah. No. No.
With the
Listen.
because the Twitter algorithm really will not let you do that. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you post one thing and if you refresh your page, it's already an old post. You know,
Right. Right. I don't.
so it's kind of hard to organize in these circumstances, in my opinion.
Yeah. I am very unfamiliar with the algorithms as someone who. Holy shit! There's a lot of people in that Discord. As somebody who uses TweetDeck and always sees the newest tweets, I don't know what the algorithm is because my algorithm is the slow march of time.
I used to try to understand like at least Twitter like what is the best hour to post my GIF for my game, you know.
Yeah.
But nowadays I'm like I will just post when I made a GIF, so I will post it. If it's okay, if it goes okay, great. If it doesn't, tomorrow I'll probably make another GIF, you know. So
Yeah.
it's easy.
You know when the real best time to post things is? It's when you're super popular. Then you
Yeah, exactly,
that's how you get
exactly.
algorithmic engagement.
And when you
Or
don't need to rely on algorithm because you already have like
yeah.
I don't know 20K whatever.
Have you considered just posting instead of posting gifs about your the works you're creating or your games that you've made, just like doing shitty memes that like prompt people for their opinions? Those seem to get great engagement.
Yeah, I there is one game developer that I really like. Damien. I think he's also on Indiepocalypse.
Yes, yes, it's an
Uh,
increasingly small world as the world of Indiepocalypse gets increasingly larger.
they are great, and I think the way that they approaches the the system is like in a way like a fuck algorithm, no fuck Twitter.
Yeah,
The name of the game is like gigantic. And I think it's pretty neat. So I was trying to do something similar, uh, but not really.
right.
What I was trying to do like instead of gigantic names, I was trying to like uh, focusing my gifts with like my uh, using the characters of my game like was Twitter, you know, like
Yeah,
they're commenting like things. So their posts were like so it was like posting a picture about my game, but also making a commentary about it.
yeah.
I don't know. I was just trying things out.
Listen, the secret is that you can't afford a community manager, and that's actually how you win at
Yeah.
Twitter. Is like probably paying money and also having someone who does it all day. So the only way to actually do it is to do it like in a way that you enjoy, you know, or
Yeah,
else.
exactly. Making jokes and fucking around with and making fun of these rich
Yeah,
people, billionaires, because you know, fuck them.
right. At this point, my
Yeah, at this
my
point,
my monthly
all,
newsletters.
all I can do is tell them to go fuck themselves. So
Yeah,
I will do that.
exactly. Right. You can't appealing to like to what you think people want will get you nowhere because that's what everybody's doing and people with infinitely more resources will be also doing it, so of course they will do it better than you will
Yeah,
be able to, so
yeah,
there's you're kind of screwed there.
exactly. I'm just me. There
Yes,
is like
yes.
teams of people, professionals, and I'm just me. You
Right,
know,
so
so
just be the flavor of meat you want to be.
yeah.
Don't try to be the meat that they want you to be. Okay, so tell me. Let's pivot a little here and tell me a little bit about skateboarding. Did you? I presume you skateboard, or like are very or are good at photographing yourself to appear as if you are able to skateboarding. Do you skateboard, Daniel?
Yeah, I do skateboard. I used to skateboard when I was a little kid. Just like
Yeah.
sitting on my skateboard and my big brother push me around and things like that.
I don't think
Uh,
that's considered skateboarding. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
yeah,
considered being on a skateboard.
yeah, exactly. I was a little kid, so
Listen, I also
I
when I was a preteen, I also bought a skateboard, rode around a little, and then kept it under my bed. But I would not consider
yeah,
myself a skateboarder.
exactly. But you should consider yourself a skateboarder.
Maybe
Fuck
it's,
it, like
maybe it's time to get back into
no,
skateboarding.
yeah, for sure. Like, what is the line? Oh,
Yeah,
you if you stand up on a skateboard, then you consider yourself a skateboarder, or you need to do an ollie, a kickflip, 360, 900. Like, what is the line?
who knows?
There's no line. There's no line. If you if you borrow like a wood and put some wheels on it, congratulations, you're a
Perfect, and
skateboarder.
I can do it within a garage, hiding from people so nobody sees me,
Exactly.
without the shame of
So
it.
yeah. So when I was a kid, I eventually got to do the tic tacs, and you put your foot on the tail of the skate, and you do
Yeah,
like the noisy tic tac, tic tac.
yeah.
So I used to do that, ride a little bit. So but I stopped. I don't really know why. Just focus interest in other things, and I just come back to skateboarding when I was. Uh, Let me see. I'm 25 right now, so 23 maybe.
Okay.
It was just a little bit before the pandemic.
Yeah, but like
Uh,
the perfect age to realize I used to do this when I was younger. Why don't I
and I
still do
used
this?
to love it.
Yeah,
I was working on this big uh, uh, project of games with a lot of Brazilian game developers. It's called Spook Station. It's
okay.
like a bunch of Halloween themed games.
Yeah,
But to be honest, I was having a pretty shitty time. I was having a lot of anxiety and things like that, and I didn't really want to work on my games. It was like a bundle, a collection of games.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
like WarioWare, so but with Halloween themed games, spooky. So and I started okay, but a lot of anxiety. So I used to catch myself watching YouTube videos about people just skating, just having fun. Oh my god, I wish there were me. I
Yeah.
wish that I was just stop making games forever and start skating.
What
And
what a beautiful dream to
just
stop
fuck it
making
out.
games
Just
forever.
just leave my room and buy a skateboard and goodbye wood. And I was like very sad, so I was like fantasizing about these utopic skating dreams.
Yeah,
So when I launched this project, I got some money back. So I think pretty well because we divided between a bunch of people, like 30 people.
yeah,
But
getting
it
any money
was
back on making a game is doing pretty
exactly,
well.
exactly. So I still receive time on time a little bit. So I think you do was pretty good. So I took the money and I bought a skateboard.
Oh,
And I
okay.
was like,
She made
yes,
that's making real money. If
yes,
you if it,
yes. I was not like no fantasy anymore. I'm gonna take all this cash and gonna buy a pro skate. And I did. I bought a pro skate and I just start learning right away. Uh, I opened a bunch of tutorial videos on YouTube on how to ollie, how to shove it,
yeah,
and I learned. And it was pretty great for a couple of months. And then the pandemic hit,
yes,
it all goes to shit. But I still skate a lot, like inside my house.
yes.
Uh,
There's still listen. There as long as there's a flat surface, there's somewhere you can skate.
yeah. So I was like 2 months in the open with my skateboard, and like the rest, like 1 year and 10 months locked in my house and doing all these shove-its,
So,
boilies, and trying to do a kickflip.
so what you're saying is when we get out of pandemic, when in 2022, you're going to be a master of just kind of like your ollie and ollie based tricks. Your what's the word I'm looking
Yeah,
for?
but if you put me on a closed square, I'm gonna
Yeah.
be the king of skateboard. But
Yes, exactly. If you need someone to,
moving spaces is not not my thing anymore. I
but if
don't
you
even
need
know where it
someone
is.
to do a skateboard trick in place, you say, "Here's a phone booth.
Oh,
I need to do a
oh
skate
yeah,
trick in
oh
it."
for sure, for sure. You need to do you need a trick right now, but no moving at all.
Yeah.
Lock it. I am the man.
Oh, perfect. So that's like ideal, like convention space. So you're at a convention, you're like, oh wow, I love this skateboarding game. Look at these cool skate tricks I can do within this tiny
Yeah,
confines of my booth.
I was actually thinking about that. Like, when the pandemic ends, I
Yeah.
can like just skate in showing skate RPG. Like, I don't know, dreaming about it. No, I was even thinking in doing like an arcade machine for skate RPG,
Yeah.
which is
Okay.
weird because it's an RPG with
Yeah.
arcade machine, but it's a short RPG. So I think it
Yeah.
would be pretty cool.
You can get one of those. Oh, what is? There was a game that had a skateboard controller. I forget what it's called.
Tony Hawk, right?
No, 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 no.
It was literally
Like an
ah.
arcade game.
Oh, I know. Oh my god, what is the name? I was
I only play like a
the
couple.
soundtrack of this game is amazing.
The very first
But I
game
don't remember. Oh my
Top
god,
Skater.
Top
Apparently,
Skater, is that the name?
Sega made it. It looks like
Yes, yeah.
it's got very crazy taxi vibes to it.
Yes, and Crazy Taxi is my favorite racing game. Like, not racing, like a car game.
Yeah,
It's my favorite.
it's like an arcade game. It's like a yes, I
There is,
do.
but there is another one. There's not Top Skater that is have the same vibe. I don't remember the name.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
have.
yeah.
And Top
But the
Skate is
soundtrack is
kind of
amazing.
owns the SEO, so I can't find anything else. But yeah,
Oh my god.
so listen, how much is a Top Skate cabinet? In stock, okay, here we are in stock at age. It's only $1,200. Do you have $1,200 lying around? U.S.
Not even close.
That's unfortunate. Listen, when is Skate RPG 2 coming out so you can really earn that money? Because of course you have to sequelize your games. You can't just like
So I'm actually making not a Skate RPG 2,
what
but
kind of
a
game developer?
shorter.
What kind of game developer are you? You're not sequelizing any small success.
I'm making a different approach to the idea. It's called a Skate 3D RPG.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. So it's not gonna be the same story. It's not gonna be it's kind of a sequel, but it's a very is way smaller than the original one. It's like an expansion,
Right.
like just like a gift to the people that they really like it. So I'm trying to do something
It's
nice for them.
like a think of it as like a re-exploration of an idea. You know, is it like a
But
okay?
so in the original Skate RPG, it was basically about like this group of people, this new person called Anak, and he's like meeting the people from Olila, the city, and making friends, learning skate tricks because everybody in Olila knows how to skateboard, and also everybody that's the same, like we were talking before, the same hate for one specific thing there, like
Yes.
rich people, billionaires, people taking their homes, people taking their spaces, people, this kind of thing.
Right.
So
Right.
it's a very anti-capitalist thing that I did in my pandemic year of skating.
Yes. It really the pandemic really what's the word I'm looking for? Really expanded any anti-capitalist feelings a lot of people had. Really,
Oh, for
it
sure, for
really blew
sure.
them up when they're like,
Yeah,
"Wow, we keep getting poorer and they keep getting richer."
Yeah, for me, for me and a lot of Brazilians, this was in 2018, because of Feixa's president. He's literally a genocidal maniac,
Yeah.
the motherfucker. So that was the triggering point for a lot of Brazilians. But the pandemic just made everything clear.
Yeah.
Now it was obvious what it was
Right.
happening.
Like if
To
you,
even to a lot of people that not even politicized.
yeah,
It was
you start
pretty.
to see like the nakedness of like, oh, I am just seen as a moving part in a very big machine, and that
Yeah,
people really don't care about me unless I'm
yeah.
making them money.
There's a new scandal with this president. There is like, oh, so he did choose to kill a lot of people because he want to extra cash from the vaccines. It was it's becoming clear and clear
Yeah.
with every day. There's like, fuck rich people, like, let's fuck rich people. So skate 3D RPG is kind of like enough,
Yeah.
because in the end of skate RPG, they do something about it to protect the land. But skate 3D RPG is like, what if someone like me, there was really really peace about everything that's going on, but they had this Akira like power to do something about it. Like,
Yeah.
so I took Anak, the protagonist of the first game, and I'm like, okay, but now he got so fucking pissed that now that he that he got some kind of uh, power from his hate and his rage, and he just like flying around killing rich people. Like he got out of control. And Skate 3D RPG, you actually do not control him. You control his friends. They're like, oh my god, is everything okay with Anakin? He's like going out. It's like really, really in this insane killing machine, flying around. What is happening? So you control three friends of Anak. They just go walking around asking, chasing the path of destruction. The first protagonist of Skit RPG lived. So it's more like a story focusing thing.
Yeah.
Like, just talk about it, or maybe solve some puzzles. He's trying to reach to Anarchy and figure it out. Uh, to, how to how is he doing that? How is he channelizing his rage in that way? Because a lot of people from all over the world, but I'm speaking specifically for Brazilians and my friends.
Yeah.
Like, we have all this fucking hate and rage, and we do not know what to do about it.
Yeah.
It's literally fucking off mental health.
Yeah. And listen, you are
It's
you're a Brazilian in Brazil. You don't need to pretend like that you're not. You don't need to, westernize or Americanize rather. Your art and your feelings, your emotions. That's not like the point of it. You can just make what you want to make and what appeals to you. What you find what you find you need to get out of your body through
yeah,
art.
yeah, exactly.
And
So
and
it's sketch RPG. Oh no, go
listen,
ahead.
I was saying, speaking of things getting out, I as much as I would love to continue to hear about Skate RPG, we are approaching the end of our time here, Daniel. It just flies by.
Don't worry, I'll go back to the group, uh,
Listen,
to the group chat. So
yes,
it's
and we will,
everything cool.
I will speak to you again. We will be back with you in like an hour or so. No, actually, it's like 40 minutes because I cut these down to 20 minutes because I want to get to people so quickly. But as we go, I gotta ask you, when I say ska, what comes to mind?
The new Jeff Rosenstock album, Sky Dream,
Oh, okay. Listen, you and I are definitely going to talk again.
is great. It's
We are,
amazing.
we are going to talk a lot about Ska Dream in the group session. I am so unhappy that I cut you off, but we have to get to other guests who I do want to talk to as well. Listen,
Okay.
There's okay. Thank you. I'm going to go on break. Be back,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you for being here. Hello, and welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio. That was The Beat with I Just Can't Stop. We are here with our second guest. We have a pair of guests here. You may know them. These are the people you might know from issue 8 of Indiepocalypse with The Machine's Garden. It's Michael and John from The Machine's Garden. Hey, how are you two doing?
Hello, this is Michael.
Perfect.
Hi, this is John.
Can I get a hello? This is John.
Hey, this is John.
Oh,
How
shit,
are
you
you?
two sound too similar. Oh, no. I'll figure it
I'll
out.
try to change my voice a little bit.
Yeah, could one of you do like a bad accent throughout this segment here so I can really like hone in on who is who? I really should have prepared. Listen, there's a show coming soon that promises at least 7 guests. Some of them who have the same name. So I'm looking for a real shit show. But speaking of shit shows, how did you hear about Indiepocalypse?
What a segue. So I was just browsing. This is Michael. I was browsing the itch front page one day. I think it was like a month or two before we were getting ready to release the Machine's Garden. I saw Indiepocalypse, and then I saw that it was like continuously accepting submissions. So I submitted for Indiepocalypse 8.
What a straightforward story. Speaking of continually accepting submissions, we are currently accepting submissions, of which there are basically none. It's a real ebb and flow with those kind of things.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like sometimes it's like really, I think it's just like, does it appear on like the front page of the Jam site or not? Like I feel like there's very little like traffic from me to it. But
yeah, I remember it was like featured. It was like right there on the front page, and that's how I saw it. So like obviously that counts for something.
Yeah, no, it's very helpful when it happens. It's been a while since that's happened, as the immortal bards once said. But yeah, so that worked, and that is like, I'm always surprised when people who also have Steam pages submit their game to Indiepocalypse, because very often is like, oh, I have a Steam page. Why would I? They don't even have itch pages. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you people up to? Like, it's free.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe at that point they're kind of like expecting a larger audience or something.
Yeah, but like, why not have multiple markets? Why submit yourself to a singular market?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Are you afraid those itch people are gonna take that DRM-free copy of your game and pirate it all over the world?
Yeah, I don't know. I think some people are irrationally afraid of that. Like, I don't know about you, John, but as far as me, like, if people did that with Machine's Garden and just shared it all around, that would be kind of like a win. More people would play it.
Yeah, more people probably buy it after the fact.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, yes, that's...
This is John. Both of us were lucky enough to not have to be financially motivated for this game.
No, perfect. And actually, after that second, this is John, I think I've got you both sorted out. That's... Indiepocalypse happens because I have the money to do it. And I'm not under, like, a financial gun to get this thing out. Because, trust me, if I was... Whoo! That sort of, that theoretical sword would have, like, got me toe to tip at this point, you know? But
they've been doing better lately, right? They're like coming close to breaking even, right?
Well, listen, okay, so when I originally said break even when I launched this thing, the idea was I was paying each developer $20, and then I was paying an artist like whatever their fee was, which was 100, 200 something. And there was no other stuff in the zine. So it was like basically at 400, aside from like the cost of like the cover, it's basically broken even. But now with a regular monthly feature in Cassie's Bad Game Corner, with like a commission game each month, that cost has gone up a bit. too. Like,
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Like the more money you're shooting out to like people that are making cool stuff, that's great.
honestly, that's what it's all about. So long as I can support the money, so long as I have the money to spit out into the world, and it's just nice. Because really, and this is, I've said before, Indiepocalypse was born out of the fact that I paid off all my student loans and my car payments, and I had like $500 extra a month. I was like, well, it's kind of like I'm just still paying my bills, except sometimes my bills pay me back a little.
That's great.
Yeah, it's
And you're a patron of the arts now.
yes, yeah, a very small scale patron of the arts. I'm asking you to paint. I want you to paint this godly. I want this nice fresco, but for like on the top of my singular room, not like a large church. But yes, speaking of patrons of the arts, if you were patrons of the arts, which art would you most patronize?
I think like musicians for me. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
To go to a show or to like, I don't know.
What was the last show you went to? Do you remember?
No. It's been so long.
Now-
I probably
Oh,
and I invest a lot into Argentine tango in my spare time. So
Okay.
that plus of course video games.
okay. Now, when the pandemic, people are posting tour days. So I think some people are still going on tour. Who are you most looking forward to seeing on tour? You know, post this all.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to the next game event I get to go to. I had just gone to my like first big conference. Like I went to PAX for the first time
Oh.
before coronavirus. PAX
Which one?
PAX
Western-
East.
Oh,
Yeah.
weird. I was at PAX East, that last PAX East.
Oh, nice.
Were you
Maybe I
just
saw you there.
were you just there as an attendee, or were you there like
I
exhibiting?
was there helping at a friend's booth demo their game, kind of
Do you-
checking it out.
Do you remember what game it was?
It was called Skate Story,
I
not Skate RPG.
no no.
Game-
Sounds like someone's got a lawsuit on their hands. Oh, this game. Okay, I know what that game is. The behind the back one.
yeah,
kind
it's
of.
it's like a glass shard
Yes.
humanoid skating through the depths of,
Yeah.
into the underworld. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that game. Okay. No, I don't know. I was there with the very first issue of Indiepocalypse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was kind of like a free-floating kind of guy. I was like, listen, the story of me at PAX East is a weird one where I thought there was space for me, but there wasn't. And I got in with some other... It's all complicated, but
Mhm.
I ended up wandering around and like telling people about it and being like, hey, buy this thing. And had dreams of there being a year of conventions in which Indiepocalypse would be featured, but whatever to that.
Hey, there's still time.
Yeah.
Were you handing out like physical copies of the zine, like selling them?
I do not have any physical copies of this. I had one because I did not know if people would buy them. I had a bunch of postcards. If you can see the stream and there's rotating, if the person looking into the vault where it says Indiepocalypse and it's the black and white image, if you see that and go, oh, that looks familiar, you may have seen it at PAX. But I was like, how did you get around the show at all? Like to see anything?
Yeah, I like a couple days I was actually wandering around.
Did you
Just
see
looking at stuff.
there was like in the back corner near some abandoned booths of people that never showed up, there was like a large scale like shop for Boston games.
Don't quite remember.
They had like a bunch of floppy disks and a large chalk or like a large wood cutout thing.
No, I didn't
Okay.
see that.
Oh, that's kind of where. Anyway, let's not reminiscing about PAX East. Are you East Coast based, the both of you?
Yeah, we're based in North Carolina.
Oh, that's not very. I know people live in North Carolina. So, what do you think of the name Nor Carl as a name for North Carolina?
I've never heard that. I've lived here for like I don't know, almost 25 years now.
Yeah.
I've never heard NorCal in my life.
Okay. It's a creation of my own. I've been floating around to see if it'll stick. You know,
I'm definitely gonna use that after this.
because I got lazy once. I'm like, what if we called them Nor Carl and So Carl? But yeah, I am familiar with someone, and that's my extent to the Carolinas. Is that I'm familiar with one person who lives there in the cool place. But I've thought of, now do you have local game shows there, or
There's the East Coast Game Conference,
Yeah.
which for a while they were trying to like position it as like the GDC of the East Coast.
yeah. So it's
Um,
like, in what's the expensive East Coast city that's kind of in the southern region, like Atlanta?
I don't know. Yeah, Atlanta, Charlotte. But it's in Raleigh that they have that. And
Yeah.
I feel like it's just mostly like a lot of like maybe people from Epic that go there for that.
Oh right, because there are like those Bethesda and Epic and all that stuff is over
Yeah,
there.
Epic's in Raleigh or in Cary rather. Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, I've definitely I've gone to it twice now, and I enjoy going, but it's not like a big show, and you're not gonna like break into the industry by going or anything.
No, listen, I I realized when we talked about the Discord and community stuff earlier, and I peeked over and I said that's a lot of people. That's because there's like 300 people in the Indiepocalypse Discord, and I'm like, what are you people there for? I'm not going to help anyone break into the industry. I'm not in the industry. I have disdain for the industry, maybe even. I don't know, an artistic outsider in the
Yeah, it's
industry.
tough. I mean, I feel like, especially like AAA games, like they say like the fastest way to become a woodworker or something is to become like a burned out software engineer or AAA dev, because you just end up getting so frustrated with computers and being on one all day that you just turn to a rustic life of woodworking.
So have you gone in going to the East Coast Games Conference? Have you thought like, wow, I can't wait till one day? Have you thought of becoming a big cog in the Epic machine where you just code shaders all day?
I've thought about it sometimes, just to I don't know, to make a living, you know. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh well, but ultimately, I'd love to just be working on more.
Right.
Cool.
Have the tiniest bit of creative input.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense if you want to like. I am of the opinion that, or at least for me, I prefer to do a job that is wholly unrelated and wholly brainless, so that I can just get paid and then go home and do the work that I want to do.
Yeah,
But-
that's true. There are definitely like day jobs that will leave you a little bit left in the tank to work on stuff. Versus
Yes,
more-
yeah, no, that's why I very deliberately was like, I want a day job that'll leave me with a full tank when I get out, and not a full wallet, but a healthy enough wallet that I can not even think about, that I don't have to like worry about that kind of thing, and it's like not a fun thing, and I am trying to pursue now that I have like a resume technically. I'm trying to pursue other work, like creatively related, but I'm still avoiding video games like they're the plague, because I don't know, weirdo like that where I need to be like not. I need to be detached from video games. Speaking of video games, and you enjoy, do the both of you enjoy video games? Out of curiosity.
Yeah, I'd say we do.
Oh shit!
What about you,
Really?
John? Do you enjoy video games?
I mean, that was how Michael and I pretty much our original connection was through Super Smash Brothers. So.
Yeah.
Like in the local scene.
No. Yeah, when we were roommates, we were just
Oh.
playing Super Smash Brothers a lot. Yeah.
So the extremely local scene.
But in NorCarl, there's not really much of like a local scene in the way that you might be thinking of. So
Yeah.
it's it's very just meet up with your friends type deal.
Do you guys have an IGDA chapter out there?
Yeah, there is.
Oh. Is there like a? I guess because it's weirder compared to me as someone who lives, in New England, there's like, oh, there could be a meetup group, but it could be like 4 hours away.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, well, the furthest I could go in Western, like I could go to like most of New England's meetup groups and drive within 4 hours. Never mind like the ones in my own state, which can only be like an hour away. But it's, I guess
I felt like actually like making, because I did used to peruse meetup.com and go and try to find other people that were making games. And I feel like once I started getting out there, that was a big turning point for me as far as like, feeling like supported and feeling like there are other people doing this.
Yeah, there's like a lot of, I think that's the thing a lot of people don't realize is there's a lot of people out there doing things. I come across a surprising number. I always get surprised when I see when someone follows me online and they say like, and it says in their little bio, Massachusetts. I'm like, I have no idea who this person is. Theoretically, I should know all these people by now, but I don't know any of these people. Whether that's my own antisocial tendencies or just it's the world's big, who knows. But so we have a question here from a Michael, and this question is for John, co-creator of the Machine's Garden. Wow, they know a lot about your game. Must be a big fan. How did the development of the Machine's Garden compare to your previous major art project, the Eternal Sand Dream? Could you talk a little bit about what the Eternal Sand Dream was and how both of these projects went from idea in your head to actually existing?
Well, that's quite a question. Thank you.
This Michael here is quite a super fan.
Probably your number one fan. I don't know.
But,
that's a great question.
But like also such like a common name. It could be really anybody.
Yeah, it could be.
Especially in America. There's like Michael's. Can't throw a hat without it landing on a Michael, you know?
Yeah, that's especially true of me right now. Anyway, well, it didn't really go from Eternal Sand Dream straight to Machine's Garden. Actually, the first one was this multiplayer canvas application that was just kind of an art project that I wanted to experiment with. And one good thing that it did was land me a job teaching web development overseas in Amsterdam, because I had built the whole thing in Node.js.
Like actually overseas, like you were, or
yeah, I was working in Amsterdam, teaching people who, coding boot camps were like a big thing maybe 3 to 5 years ago.
Okay.
And I was part of one of those. And then after I completed my contract there, then eventually I got started working on the Machine's Garden, which I guess kind of in the same vein ended up landing me another job as a Unity developer. So if I had to tie them together, I guess they both serve the purpose of showing the world that I am capable of creating something.
That's that's an important thing to show the world you're capable. As someone who would theoretically apply as an artist, that you can make art seems like a very good thing to show people.
Yeah, well, they certainly seem to think so, which suits me just fine.
Yeah, listen, that's the most important thing is that other people think so, and also that they pay you to think that.
Yeah, remember earlier on in the radio show where you were mentioning how you should only do things for yourself and not for other people?
Yeah. Sometimes doing things for other people gives you money, which in turn lets you live and do things for yourself.
Yeah.
We have a question here from late breaking question from the chat, which is what inspired Machine's Garden, and what are you working on now?
From ScatCat42.
Yes, I listen. Nothing against SkyCat42, but is a personal thing of mine where I like to draw lines in the sand and like to really cut down on parasocial relationships, and I do that by I've decided to acknowledge the chat, but not to say their names because it feels like I don't want to feel like I'm talking to them. It's a weird. It's. I don't expect you to live in my head and know how I think. and know my rules. But it's always made me uncomfortable, the kind of like extended relationship of Twitch chat to Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
And saying people's even their online names is always like goes back to me being wanting to be left alone. But anyway, it's a good question. Do you have an answer for it though?
Yeah, so I'll kind of start about what inspired the Machines Garden. So we had done a game jam together, me and John, and another friend of ours, TJ. We made a game called Snailboat, which was a short little like 8 or 9 level puzzle game. And then John wanted to keep making games, so he wanted to make something bigger. I don't know, do you have anything to add to that?
Sure. Yeah, I think Snailboat was our foot in the dipping our toe into the swimming pool moment of, oh, we can actually do this. And then the Machines Garden was our sort of 2-year-long adventure with game development, and sort of actually releasing a commercial game, which was, I think we were both very proud of ourselves for doing that and making a relatively polished, relatively interesting product. And I think that's kind of spurred us on to other projects. So now Michael is working on his own thing, which he can tell you about. And I started working on another game, but then I accepted a job offer developing virtual reality applications that teach autistic children how to socialize effectively, which is as far as working for a corporation goes, I think I really enjoy it. So
yeah. There is work to be had working for someone else that is not just miserable, crunching existence. And it's like, get it where you can get it the best you can. Michael,
you want to talk about Robot Gardener?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit of Robot Gardener as our time dwindles.
Yeah, so I'm making another puzzle game. It's not going to be like a fixed solution puzzle game. There'll be like kind of fuzzy, kind of creative ways to solve the puzzles. And your character is a robot that's on this kind of abandoned space station with all these crazy plants and space animals living on it. So that's kind of the gist of it now. I'm still kind of figuring it all out.
Well, perfect. And now I have one final question here. Extremely late breaking from an Andrew. It is what do you think of when I say ska?
I don't know. I think of high school.
You had a lot of checkerboard vans in your high school life?
No, but I did play in a ska cover band for a little bit, playing trumpet with other kids from the marching band. We had our little cover band and played Streetlight Manifesto songs, basically.
What a beautiful, beautiful world. So you could have been that kid in the intro video could have been you.
Yeah, basically.
Perfect. Perfect. I was gonna say we all know that person, but apparently we were that person.
Yep, I was that guy. So.
Well, Michael and Sean, great to have you here on the show. We're gonna go to a break.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you, and we'll be back in 20 with our final guest after about 2 minutes and 39 seconds. Thank you all. Goodbye. Hello and welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio. That was Jeff Rosenstock with Scram with a capital S-K-A. We are here with our third and final guest, who you may know not from Indiepocalypse at all in any way, but from such websites as Uppercut and Upcomer and other bylines across the internet. It's Ty. Hello, how you doing, Ty?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Shit, the tables always get turned on me, and I'm never prepared for it. Yes. I had to panic quickly because I thought I was screwing up upcomer because I was like, wait a minute, up and up. Wait a minute.
It's double up, yeah.
I thought I was in my
You've
own
heard
head.
of one up. Get ready for two up.
What? As a gamer who loves one ups, I would certainly love two ups. Do you have 5 ups? Do you have 3 ups like those moons in Mario?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a fake gamer, and I've only dabbled in the Mario's.
Oh my god, we fake gamers on it. Oh my god, I don't know.
I've played them, but I haven't. I don't know that I've ever beaten a Mario game.
Oh, listen, that's like saying you like TV, but you haven't watched all of, I don't know, CSI or something. Whatever. Who cares? Anyway, Mario, he goes from the left to the right, and he jumps a lot, and there's little turtles.
Does jumps.
And you don't want to let the turtles.
Jumps.
Don't let the turtles touch you. It's bad. The little Goombas look like mushrooms.
They're mad mushrooms, though. They're angry.
Yeah, they're like really pissed off mushrooms. Ty, how often in your life have you encountered really angry mushrooms?
I don't know that I can say that I've encountered any specifically angry mushrooms.
Okay.
Mushrooms to me seem like a thing that are just kind of vibing.
Yes. Have you ever stepped on a mushroom?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I've stepped on them, but I'm significantly larger proportionally than Mario is to a mushroom, so.
I've got some. I've got some big mushrooms in my yard at the time, so I could realize those are. I went out the other day, like those are big mushrooms. And went on my day.
Yeah, I mean, like even like a big mushroom though, like I can still squish it with one foot. You know what I mean? Like.
I had some regionally that I did not realize at the time that it was just like spores, and I was fertilizing more mushrooms. But when you stepped on them, dust came out of them, which was the spores, and I thought that was fun. But that's enough of mushroom talk. This isn't late breaking mushroom talk with Andrew. That's a different show. If you subscribe on Patreon and you want to hear, there are a lot of people into mushrooms nowadays. Ty, do you know anyone who's into not recreational mushrooms? We're not talking about like that, you criminals. We're talking about mushroom hunting
yeah,
and
actually,
foraging.
two of my really good local friends are both very into foraging and like trying to identify mushrooms. I think they're still kind of like learning how to do it, but they're very into that. It's not an interest I share with them, but I am happy that they are happy.
Now that is, I feel like I learned that one day that was just a thing people are into now, and there's like a bigger world than I ever realized. And then there's...
Yeah, there's people are getting back into like foraging and stuff, which like, cool. Again, not really my thing personally, but
you prefer to at least have someone before you say this was good.
I'm just a lot more of an indoor cat than this particular set of friends, which is interesting. The Venn diagram of our interests kind of grows and shrinks.
Yeah, people are open to like a wide. I think everyone knows a lot less about people than they think they do. Even the people, because it turns out when everyone else has 24 hours in their lives and not like actually weird side characters that you only live for the 30 minutes you see them in a day. Mm-hmm. There can be a lot to people's lives, including like they can have a whole mushroom side where they have books and there's a word for it that I don't know. That is, I'm into mushrooms.
Yeah, I don't know what like mushroom enthusiasm is called, but it's a thing.
Now, speaking of, I have to do my due diligence and coming back to video games. I suppose, and your fake gamer credentials. What would you say was like, I guess, your early approach to games? Like, since they could really, folks, it can be anything.
Like what first got me into
Yeah,
them?
yeah. What was like your introduction? Like, oh, these things are fun.
I've been playing games like ever since I can remember, just because my
Yeah.
parents, like even when I was a little baby, like I had like educational computer
Ah,
games.
yes.
So yeah, I was just always playing games as a kid, like between those, and then when I was like 5, my parents got me a Super Nintendo that had like the Mario collection and like Donkey Kong on it. Um, so like I've always kind of had them in my life to a degree. I kind of got away from them when I was like a teenager, but then got back into them in college. But yeah, I guess it would be like what's it called? Yeah, like those little like edutainment
Yeah.
children's games.
Right,
A
right.
lot of Barney and Reader Rabbit.
Your jump starts.
Yes, that kind of stuff for sure.
For a second, I thought your lean in was going to say that you had gamer parents, which is, I think, we're getting
I
increasingly.
mean, my dad played video games too,
Oh.
for sure. So yeah,
Because we're definitely
Yeah.
getting closer to that era of.
yeah. My dad got like I'm like the only person I know in like my like I don't know like games Twitter group who's like really into CRPGs.
Yeah.
And it's just because like I grew up with them. Like we always had like the original Diablos, and then we had like all the Neverwinter Nights and all of that shit
Yeah.
on my computer growing up. So I just like even when I didn't understand what I was playing, my dad would just like let me fuck around with those games. So
Yeah,
I'm just very fond of that design.
I have opened up those games somewhat recently and go, oh, this is a lot going on as a kid who grew up with JRPGs and where people were polite and took turns hitting each other. Games like Neverwinter where everything is happening all the time. And
Yeah. Yeah, everything is happening a lot, and I like that. I don't know why I do. I've
Yeah.
had a harder time adjusting to turn-based combat. I'm not opposed to it, but
No,
it's an adjustment.
right. Why are these people standing around waiting for me to do something? My intro to that world was Dragon Age. I was going to call it Dragon Quest. That's not the right game. It's Dragon Age. Yes. Now I'm confusing myself with all my Dragon games.
I'm a very, very big proponent. Well, I'm not gonna say I'm a proponent of it, but I'm very fond of Dragon Age, particularly Dragon Age Origins.
Okay. I didn't never play through all of it. I think my save broke or something. Or maybe I just
Yeah, probably.
or my save broke. I meant I stopped playing and came back to. I'm like, I don't know what video games are. I'm quitting.
I mean, either is like honestly equally probable. I feel like especially if you were playing like on a console, the console ports of that game were like a little iffy.
Yeah, I was playing. I think a PlayStation 3, that retro console.
Yeah, the PlayStation 3 port was not very good.
I feel like there was. I think it was cut. Was there cut content in that game where it's like if you like started dating the who's the dude? Alistair.
Yeah.
Like you could start dating Alistair and then like break up with him, and Morgan would give you a lot of shit about it. I think that was like cut stuff, but I like that idea a lot.
It might be. They're like Morris. The party interactions in Dragon Age Origins are really well. They're usually fun. Some of them are kind of brutal. Like if you have Wynn and Morrigan in your party, they just like yell at each other.
I kind of like that the party just kind of hates each other.
Yeah, like it truly does. Like different characters react like differently to each other, which is very fun.
Something that has bugged me immensely, and it is an irrational thing to expect of game developers, but I hate it. Like when if you have like a party based game, I think it is probably Persona, which is like the most egregious of this, where like if two characters start dating, it would shift the entire group dynamic. But instead, it has zero impact on the game and the story.
Yeah, that's the thing about Persona, right? Is it has like such a compelling like core loop and kind of like hook in the slice of life part, but because it also has the entire other like JRPG side to it, it like does not really delve into how those relationships work beyond like your social links. And your social links like don't account for other people who are
No.
like, you know, in your friend group or whatever.
Yeah, it's like there's a really interesting game in there somewhere for the person who wants to spend the 80 billion hours it takes to make that game. Of like those branching paths and
Every day I do get closer to like trying to start scripting up like Persona meets like sports anime type thing, but because I just like that's the video
Yeah.
game that I want
Yes.
personally.
Yeah, no, let me tell you about my Fire Emblem design doc that I have, where it's like, what if Fire
Yeah.
Emblem was actually gay, not just pretend gay like it is? And
Man.
those games take forever to make.
Yeah, I don't. Well, the thing is too, I don't know how to make a game. I'm not a
Yeah.
game designer.
I barely listen. As someone who barely knows how to make games but made them anyway. It's
I'm
that-
like deeply on the other side of this here industry.
you just got to pollinate the idea around and like get it in people's brains enough until they go, oh, maybe somebody should do that.
I really think that people would like it if it was a thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could.
Yeah, right.
Game's hard. Games. I don't know how to make video games, but I do know that it's hard.
Yes,
So-
yes. As someone who is trying to champion people being able to make games in a weekend and charge money for them, you can make shorter games, but the culture doesn't allow for it.
Well, sure. You also like I've like looked at a Twine tutorial. Like even a little thing is like work. Like that shit's like you gotta figure it out. Like
Yes,
it's a lot.
Nothing is
respects to game developers
nothing.
by and large.
Even building
Nothing
blocks
but respect for my game developer.
precisely. You even go, oh, it's building blocks. Well, Legos are building blocks, but I can't make a complicated Lego model without a guide still. And even with a guide, probably take a bit of time to build such a thing.
Yeah, every time people do stuff, I'm like, damn, you're really out here just doing shit.
Ty, if you could do a thing, Ty, what would be your thing you could do?
I wish that, like, I want to be better at drawing, particularly in, like, the ability, though, to, like, do, like, web comics, because I
Yeah.
think that is a really cool form of storytelling.
Yes.
I just think that'd be really neat. But I am not at that level currently.
Yeah. Drawing it feels like a complicated thing to get into later in life because I think you're too aware of yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's also something like I've had a weird fraught relationship with because I was like super into it in high school, but then I had like a weird bad time with the teacher and was like, actually, fuck this.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's been weird, and then like trying to find time to be a person
yes.
is something that I'm being able to do more now, but is a newer thing in my life.
Yeah, listen, that's that everyone out there in art world, you find the time to just like to be yourself, I guess, and not work. It all goes back to Shigeru Mizuki and the power of sleep. It's why he lived to be like 95 or whatever years old, and everyone else died at 60 or 50. Because sometimes you just sleep and not work all the time. And maybe it means like your thing comes out like 3 months later or whatever, but you lived a better life.
Yeah, I'm also just like, I'm really lucky that I'm like in a spot where I like don't have to grind nearly as hard as I did like even a year ago. But I also know that that's, not the case for a lot of people.
Yeah, the world, especially if you like are working to do what you like, that's a thing that knows a lot of people want to do what they like, and then that means they don't pay very well very often because they can use enthusiasm to cover lower pay because you broke into the industry. So you take your $5 an hour pay deduction for your breaking in fee or whatever.
Yeah, it's rough out there.
Yeah, it's tough out there for everybody. And who knows how, like, is there a solution to it? Who knows? Is it that the people who get successful, does it all come back down to trickle down economics? Are we
I mean, the hope is no, right?
Yeah,
like
right.
the hope is that we are slowly, hopefully faster, but at least slowly pushing people towards, a more collective mindset, perhaps.
Yeah, because trickle down relies on the person at the very tippity top of it spilling a little bit of their giant water jug onto the rest of us. And they take their straw and they carefully sip instead, leaving none for the people below. And yeah, anything that sort of like relies on someone doing stuff inherently without anyone forcing them to is kind of precarious, to be polite about it.
Yeah, it's definitely, fraught at best, probably.
I feel like, indie devs are, even they get more prominent, they're either shout out or slap their name all over their indie outreach programs as much as they can until people say, isn't this a little questionable?
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that, like, this is possibly too optimistic, but, like, I'm hoping that there is going to be sort of a pseudo Mass Effect synthesis ending situation where, like, more of the avant-garde is getting that, like, indie darling spotlight just because, like, we just had for E3 the Future of Play Direct from Glitch, and like, is it like Indiepocalypse games being shown on that stage? No,
those games aren't on Steam. Those games aren't on Steam.
No, but something like Dome King Cabbage would never have been in an E3 presentation, even like a couple years ago.
Right. Who even knows if, like, when E3 becomes less digital, whether they'll even be back on those stages.
Yeah. And so, like, I think if nothing else, like, it gives me a little bit of hope to see, like, stuff like that happening. And, more marginalized devs kind of getting that attention and, like, being funded on Kickstarter and stuff. So we'll see. I don't know. I think it's getting better, hopefully.
I mean, the thing is, like, games don't have, like, I mean, there is, like, the true avant-garde that is, like, unapproachable in every art form for anyone who likes things.
Mm-hmm.
But games don't even have, like, I mean, Annapurna is publishing games, but they kind of approach soft avant, if you will, to make up a term, but...
Yeah, I feel like I just kind of struggle with the games that are, like, super, like, purposefully artsy or cerebral, just because, like, I don't know, my brain just doesn't work that way a lot of the time. Well, but it is interesting seeing more stuff like that kind of coming out, though, in terms of, like, Gareth Damian Martin's, like, In Other Waters.
Yeah.
Was on the Switch and, like, got some mainstream coverage. And that's a very not, like, mainstream narrative game.
Yeah, I think, I mean, the you can ride that culture of non-violence, I guess, a little bit to help people. I hear people are really into our games and use violence nowadays, or something to that effect.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's a whole conversation, but, like, I think
it certainly is.
I think a lot of people, like, kind of in the age group that, like, I don't want to assume how old you are, so I'm not going to say we, but
how old would you think? How old would you think I am?
I would assume between like 25 and 30, probably.
Oh shit! What a guess! I'm older than that, but I feel like I'm glad. I feel like I'm keeping with the young kids with this show, with this zine, and I feel like
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
how old people are,
No, it's
but
impossible.
I'm 26.
Yeah.
And I feel like people who are kind of in that same age group as me, who are like, at least gaming in my, kind of social sphere, are definitely looking for more like new experiences.
Yeah.
As much as people still do love, a God of War or whatever, a lot of people are also really excited when they get their hands on a clawfish. And so, like, that's, the wholesome conversation is a whole thing. A lot of the nonviolence versus violence is the whole thing. But I like that this is at least like a conversation we're having now.
Yes.
Because like when I started writing about video games in 2017, like something like wholesome games did not and would not exist.
No.
So even in the past couple years, like things have changed.
Right. Now everyone can feel like an empty brand. And Anyway, I like people can make the games with make game. I've given a lot of sideways sneers to wholesome games, but my only real beef is the language is so codified that it feels fake and insincere.
Yeah, I think that's like the main problem. Like I for Uppercut we did like a podcast series like about the wholesome games conversation with like a few different devs and also like one of the guys who like helped create it, and like it just really seems like the name kind of just happened and then they have stuck with it for like branding in the sense of like Twitter, not in the sense of they make money, because that's been a whole contentious thing. But like yeah, I wish there was a better way to describe what they're going for.
Yeah. There's like
it's a lot. It's a whole thing. You can listen to those episodes where we talk to Danny from the Validate team and like Doc who made Adios.
I listened to that first one, the one with Doc, and then I listened to the ones with the people who weren't involved, I think, or I listened to one and a half of that podcast because I was. Sometimes you think about something and the only way to talk about it is to hear other people talk about it, and then you think, yes, I also had that conversation. And your brain becomes satisfied with it.
Yeah. It's something like I'm very interested in like cuteness in games and stuff. That's kind of like one of my interests in my coverage. And so like wholesome is the whole like the thing itself I think is less prickly than the conversation around it, but I understand exactly why the conversation has happened the way it has.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, listen, we could spend forever talking about this. Listen, that's why the discourse exists.
It's true.
No, I think there should be a law instated on the discourse where if it props up, you have to wait. We have to wait one day minimum 24 hours before posting. I feel like it would be healthy instead of just getting your takes and getting out. Really.
Yeah, it would probably be at least slightly healthier, but
who knows? People might just instead stew in it for that longer, and the vitriol grows.
True. People are truly wild, so who knows?
The internet is a wild place. Let's all get off social media, everyone. Let's bring back web rings. And everyone.
I don't know what that is.
So web ring is like Ty, so you're saying you weren't familiar with the anime web turnpike growing up?
No.
I was thinking about that the other day because, listen, people keep talking about how do we organize things and how do we get alt game curators or stuff organized. And I think, well, we just need to get off of Twitter and get off of Instagram and get off of social media and really just like go back to our own websites. They're still very cheap to make.
Yeah, I mean, like I fucked around on some like RP forums in my day, but I think I missed the wave of like the people having their own sites and like the
Yeah.
live journaling and all of that.
Yeah, I'm not going to bring it up, but read stories as I keep bringing this up, just because I remember a thing where I read stories about people like an interview of like, oh, we met on live journals, and that's because that was a smaller community, and it was helpful to have smaller communities back in the day. And I think it's to go back. I think to our last conversation, our first one with Daniel. It's impossible to compete with people who have infinite money and time and resources. So to like
True, but it's also actually kind of the fucked up thing about Twitter.
Yeah.
Is that like sometimes if you're just stupid and funny enough, you just like can for a second, and it's an enigma. But
truly, we all have a drill inside. We all have a drill inside of us.
Like kind of like, and it's true. Like the more like if I tweet, if I just have like a really good, just like high shit post, like absolute bonkers engagement. So like, also like I got verified for some reason.
I saw that. I was like, shit. How do I get I don't have random.
I truly don't understand the like criteria, because I have, people I know who have like more followers than me with like the same bylines I do that like didn't get it.
Okay, I was gonna say, because you've got actually a healthy number of bylines. You've got double editors,
I'm like a quote unquote journalist or whatever. I don't like that term for like what I specifically do.
No,
because I'm not like a reporter.
Right. The two words we have are journalist and critic, and there's a different type of person who doesn't feel like they fit into either of them strictly.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but I'm that, whatever middle part.
A micro blogger.
Yeah, I'm a video game content writer.
Ooh, content. Love it.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, because sometimes I do crit and sometimes I write shit posts, and like I don't know. Yeah. A lot of what I write is both. Those tends to be actually a lot of my like, editorial style.
I think back in the if we were all white men back in the day, it would be called gonzo writing, I believe. Not shit posting, stylistically speaking. Think of you as the a current journalism of what's the guy whose name I forgot? Hunter S. Thompson. There he is.
Oh, there we go. I'm the Hunter S. Thompson of video games journalism. Right. Yes,
exactly. That's what it is. We just lost the word gonzo along the way somewhere, or it became something else, or the Muppet took all the brand recognition.
He is a good Muppet, so
he's got a good attitude, He's got a good
I really
look.
like his outfits.
Yeah, he's got a good look. We're on the same wavelength here with saying steal that look.
I take a lot of personal fashion inspiration from Gonzo.
You would do us all.
Wear a lot of print shirts.
Yeah, it would.
Wear a lot of button ups.
Yeah, I had this image of him in my mind leaning up against something with like a checkerboard, kind of like brownish, yellowish, mustardy suit. And I have to remember if it's real or if it's like something I imagined.
I mean, that sounds real, but like honestly, there's like a 50-50.
Nope, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I found it. No, this is a drawing of it. I don't know where the original is. But anyway.
I feel like that's a description of like an outfit from the Muppets, the Alien one. Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure there's like a disco scene in that one.
Maybe. I'll say I have very little like Muppet experience.
Oh, I love Muppets.
In my adult life. And in my child life, I can't remember if I do or not.
I watched the Muppets from Space movie a lot as a child. It was my favorite Muppets movie. Because I found the Muppets Treasure Island film to be very stressful.
Okay.
I have anxiety, and I've
Okay.
always had anxiety, and like just like watching characters like be in like tense environments or like
Yeah.
playing games that have really tense, like creepy environments really fucks me up. That's why I had a hard time with like Dark Souls for a long time.
Yeah.
Because it's just like bad vibes. It's not even that like the game was too hard. It was just like I just don't enjoy being here.
No,
Uh,
I think that's the thing a lot of Souls likes don't understand is the vibes is what is a great appeal of those games to the people who they appeal to.
Yeah, which absolutely. I was talking to my friend Grace, who absolutely, like adores those games or whatever, and I was like, I get what they're doing. They are disgusting and impeccable for it, and it is too much for me personally.
Yes.
But like, I get why it's cool.
Yeah, I don't like Souls likes because I don't like Souls games because I die and then I come back and they're hard and I'm a hardcore gamer. I like it because there's weirdos who laugh a lot and it's a messed up goth world with skeletons in it, and that's just my worldview. I'm a big skeleton fan here.
That's fair. I like a skeleton. I have a skeleton actually behind me currently, a little plastic one.
I thought we were truly live in a blessed culture when we had that 6 foot tall skeleton in the world.
I want that so badly. I have nowhere that I could put it. It's like
Yeah.
$200 or $300, but I want it.
Yeah, what if we had one though? I'm learning kanji on my side, and the word for skeleton is bone status, and I like that.
Ooh, bone status is a good like name for something.
Yeah, that's like the combination that you use to get skeleton of kanji is bone and status, and your bone status is that you're a skeleton, and I'm just a fan of those guys. I like that we all have one, and that we just never get to see it. Speaking of skeletons, and really skeletons are the end of all of us. And we are, Ty, unfortunately, at the end of our time here. I mean, you're going to be back very soon because we're going to the group segment after this. But, Ty, before we go, I have to ask you the burning question of the episode. What do you think of when I say ska?
I don't really. Is Sublime ska?
I think so.
I guess Sublime.
I don't know. I try not to think about Sublime when I can, but that's
I don't. I honestly, I don't really. Actually, you know what? When I think of ska, I think of the Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated episode that is about a ska band that comes back from the dead to haunt the town with the power of ghostly music.
Is that show good?
I don't really care for the ending.
Okay.
But I think like up until like the last few episodes, like it's a pretty solid vibe.
Because that's like, is that like the metatextual, overly aware kind of like, here's someone who made Scooby-Doo in the world where someone who can think about what Scooby-Doo is.
Yeah, it's very much like it has actively like Twin Peaks references in it. And like it's just very much like a monster of the week that evolves into something else.
That cartoons have taken a really weird turn. Like, I'm sure there's a very good video essay of Flapjack to now in the world of cartoons and how they have just like become what they are. But listen, we're getting sidetracked. I was going to go to a break. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for being on the show. It's not like you're leaving. We're all not all leaving. We're going to be going on break. See you all on the other half of 3 minutes and 11 seconds. Goodbye. Apocalypse Radio. That was Sonic Boom 6 with Sound of a Revolution. I got confused for a second. I'm like, wait, no, the album is called Rude Awakening. That was Sound of a Revolution. We are back with everyone here, and I'm here to wish a happy 9th birthday to Channel Orange. Congratulations on making it to 9 years old. I'm very bad at naming favorites, but I could name favorite albums because albums are things you listen to repeatedly. And so I think it's easier for me to, like, in my brain, recognize a favorite. But when I was searching for AMVs, I couldn't find anything like pre-Blonde, and I was like, you motherfuckers. Channel Orange is what I go to. It's my Anyway, we're here with everybody. Everyone's here now. I'm not just going to sit here and mumble about Frank Ocean for 40 minutes, though I probably could. Anyway, hello everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Now, before Daniel, this is very hot pressing matter. Before we cut off, we were talking about Jeff Rosenstock and Ska Dream, which
Oh yeah.
which I am a huge fan of, and like kind of got me into really like awakening my third checkerboard eye.
I think it was the same thing here. Like
Yeah,
the exact same thing. I always listen to a lot of punk rock, and there in America there's this ska punk thing in the 90s now with Tony Hawk and things like that.
yeah,
And the original No Dream was already a very ska influence in my
Yeah.
opinion.
yeah. I mean, like Bob in the Music Industry is like a ska punk band.
Yes,
Basically.
exactly. But Ska Dream is like opening a third eye with checkboards,
Yeah, yeah,
It's a whole another level of ska. I mean, it's way more not ashamed of being just pure ska fun. It's great. The No Dream album original is already amazing.
yeah.
And the Ska Dream one is like very welcoming to this awful year.
Yes. When locked in quarantine, let's all make ska albums or ska remixes of albums we already made.
I would be 100% into that.
I am getting ready to. I was half joking about skanking, teaching people to skank at events when they open back up, but I may actually.
I really hope I get a skanking lesson from Andrew someday.
Yeah, I'm going to be out and about. I am taking my first trip, but this month, to not a real event, to like a meetup, but also I'm like in the second most vaccinated state, going to like the most vaccinated state, so it feels less weird. Even like living in like the most heavily vaccinated region of the U.S., it's kind of has a different perspective or something. It feels less of a hellscape, maybe, but less of a hellscape is still a hellscape, I suppose.
I don't know how much Americans realize that it's very, very, very weird to us from the Brazil, Colombia, South America countries, seeing Twitter posts like discussing if they should or not still wear a mask or something
Yeah.
like. Because right here in Brazil, we're still in deep shit. It's like it's not an option.
Yeah, listen, America is a real confident, let's call it confident country.
It's fucking stupid here.
Yeah.
And my vision is basically tweet vision from America. It's like one day everybody decided, I think it's over now. I'm done with, like there is enough vaccine already. So
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much, it's kind of shocking. Like,
Well, there are people in this country who died saying that COVID wasn't real. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on here. It's bad.
Same here. It's
like
very, very bad. Also, a lot of stupid people right here. Also, a lot of people denying COVID and dying from COVID. So, yeah.
Yeah, listen. The internet has truly rotted people's brains to like a degree with which we could not understand. It's like the turns out having like immediate access to information is both amazing and terrible. Especially when you can just put any information in the world, and it doesn't have to be true.
Yeah, just like whatever rabbit hole you want to go down, it exists, and you will go down.
And there, whatever rabbit hole you want to go down, there's a Facebook group for
Yes. There's a bunch of other rabbits down there waiting to greet you.
yeah. But I'm very
the door.
lucky. I'm in Brazil, but it's a very, very shitty situation. But I'm very lucky for taking my first shot at the vaccine because I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
And here, where I'm living, they are starting to vaccinate teachers. So at least I have that. So yeah, things are pretty bad. But I can see in the future, maybe, hopefully, next year. Maybe will be like America is right now. I don't know.
Yeah. Oof. Listen, everyone, COVID's a real mess. I saw a thing on like a bathroom somewhere, and it said, novel coronavirus 2019. I was like, shit, it's been a while, hasn't it? I'm like, that's what that 19 stands for. I forgot after all these years.
God.
But listen, COVID, you've had enough time on podcasts. Get out of here. You're everyone's least favorite podcast guest.
I'm sorry. I kind of started this subject because
it's where our brains live. It's nothing. I started by just mentioning the word vaccination.
Yeah, but also like I'm the only one from Brazil. I have to say
yes, right.
The division from what is happening here and what we see it happen from you guys. So
yeah, it's very easy to like live within your U.S. bubble and think, well, everyone's kind of like doing like us, and it's like, no, not everyone's kind of doing like us.
Yeah, it's pretty much done already.
Yeah, no. It turns out America can just fucking spend its way out of every problem it wants to, or spend its way into any problem, or just when you have a bunch of money to throw around recklessly, you just do whatever you want with it, and people just don't give a shit. Except when it means like giving money to people. That's a little like, I don't know about that anymore.
That's when we don't have any money.
Yeah, it's like, I'm so tight today, like, It's like your fucking
like
friend.
Billions for the army, but helping with
eating. Can't you work?
Eating, healthcare. No. We don't have any money for that.
Yeah. Listen, I'm sure plenty of people.
No, we can give the cops tanks though.
Well, we've already built the tanks. What are we gonna do with them? That's the military-industrial complex version of trading the same bitsy dollars back and forth. We're just trading our tanks between our military and our police and our local sheriffs.
It was very funny, and yesterday I think, like an awful human being. I'm not gonna even cite his name, and he's a very vicious dude from Brazil, but he was living and there in America, but he got sick, and he lost. Basically, he didn't have enough money to take care of, to pay the bills with the American hospital. So he was very vocal about the free healthcare from Brazil being like a bad thing. America is better, and things like that. So he got back from Brazil to start the free healthcare that he criticized about it. So very ironic, yeah, very fucked up and ironic, and oh my god, there's a lot of stupid people.
Yeah, it's very what a weird and wild world where it's like health insurance just means it's a little bit cheaper, I guess. Maybe you still have to pay co-pays, and then also don't do anything expensive. Go for a checkup.
It It must be very scary to get sick from in America. I don't know. I
just do
can't
my-
realize.
I do my best to avoid it.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It really, really sucks.
I really enjoy that. Listen, I hope that people just like listen. As long as some people culturally, globally, get more into wearing masks, I'm a big fan of people wearing masks when they're sick now. Having not been sick for like over a year.
No, I'm gonna just like keep wearing my mask to the grocery store and
same.
like on the plane. And like, yeah, especially like if I ever go to a PAX again, I'm absolutely gonna wear it.
Yeah.
Because the fact that everybody's like, oh, we're all just fine with con crud. And it's like, why would you? No.
Yeah,
Stop
no.
it.
I have seen people violently ill after conventions. It's not a great experience. As someone who is filling out forms for conventions at the moment, or not at the exact moment, but like yesterday, I was like, well, I guess people are pretending to do them again. I might as well. Who knows? You know,
Yeah.
I might just look at them and go, also, that's expensive.
Yeah, I'm not going to anything until someone is paying me to do it. But
I need to do at least one and go like, wow, maybe I can sell gangbusters at these conventions. But I don't know until I do at least one. So I'm trying to find.
I mean, honestly, if you got in contact with like the people who do the visual novel reading room at like PAX, you'd probably have like a decent amount of traffic.
Yeah.
That's how like I met Chris from Lunaris, and like, you know, they went from a little studio that nobody had heard about to like now they have had like multiple really successful Kickstarters and are like launching shit on Switch and all kinds of stuff. So I bet you could get some real estate in that area.
Maybe I could. I need to. I guess it depends. I also have like an idea for like a PAX booth of like a weird. I want to run like a weird consignment shop kind of thing, where it's like, hey, if you can't afford to go to PAX, what if you paid me like $20 and then just give me Steam and itch codes, and I basically run like a shop.
There is a game developer from Brazil, a friend of mine. His name is Pedro Paiva, but on the internet, he uses the name Menos Play, Mais ódio, menos PlayStation, the name, which means in English, more hate, less PlayStation. And he made not one, he made more than ones, arcade machines. They're like, you can walk around moving in the streets, and everybody can pay a tiny little fee to play. It's like he's fucking great. I love him, and when everything the pandemic shit is over, I want to go there to where he lives and play. I found a picture. I'm gonna send on Discord.
Yeah, that sounds really fun. I follow him on Twitter, but it's hard because I can't read Portuguese. So half the time I'm like, oh, I'm going to translate this, and then I forget. But
Portuguese really.
He's great. I mean, oh my god, I'm a really big fan. He's my friend, but I'm also a big fan.
Oh, I know this guy. He follows me.
Yeah, everything
really
is like
stuff, but...
everything is like anti-capitalist, anti-gamer. He's on it,
I think I was talking with Kai K about him earlier on a different, or maybe just like in private correspondence. But yeah, I think you need to find like different, just like avenues to explore things. And I think those are like very cool ways to do it.
Yeah, I have another friend that he used to talk like the games that I made. They're not exactly indie games. They're like jogos artesanais, which means handcrafted games. Like an experience made with just one pair of hands of another human. Something more No, it's different. It's not like a teen or some
Yeah,
or things
yeah.
like that. So you shouldn't expect like the level of variables to be like was from a company. It's a person doing. So it's like
Yeah.
handcrafted games, like a vase or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of subjects of immense discourse, what is an indie game? What is that definition? Is a whole other like.
Yeah, that word
discourse.
doesn't mean anything
Yeah,
anymore.
it means the same
Yeah.
thing it does it in music, where it means, hey, maybe you're scraping together an album in your basement, or it means you're your parents are famous actors, and you just changed your name so you could call yourself indie. I'm Frankie Cosmos. I'm looking at you there, buddy. But yeah, it's a name that words don't mean anything, as it turns out.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's like there's a lot of big companies using the name, so it's kind of getting fuzzy. It's
Yeah.
like the back in the day it was like double A. It's not exactly indie, not exactly triple A, double
Yeah.
A.
I think that's what a lot of these like companies
But
are now. Like,
yeah, but it's a problem because one person making a game is an indie game, and Annapurna making a game is an indie game. So it's like
Yeah. Well, and it's hard, right? Because our games that have publishers indie games, because originally, in theory, right, they weren't,
independent.
but they're also a lot of the time tiny teams that are getting picked up. Like the Ooblets thing, where like they got picked up by Epic or whatever. That's a team of like no more than I think 10 people.
what a King's Bounty, though. 10 people, my God.
Yeah, but I mean, and like that is big for an indie game,
Yeah.
right? Like that,
Yeah.
and especially like the scale of what Ooblets is, um, it's just weird. Like it's hard to know like what scale and like what funding level. It's just there. It doesn't. It's too much. There needs to be like. I don't want to say there needs to be more like language because I think that gets murky really fast.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. Being an indie game is not as simple as it maybe used to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not.
Because, like, even if you're, like, from a publisher standpoint, is like a publisher published by Epic different than an indie published by someone you've never heard of, like an indie publisher? Like, there's, like, the scales of, like, it's impossible to, like, navigate, and what is to be gained out of it anyway, I suppose. If
Yeah,
we,
but maybe we should use something more specific to like tiny teams or one person making.
Right.
I think I'm
Because
trying to focus more on like for my at least as like a press person who's like come up on like the quote unquote indie scene or whatever, like I feel like I've trying to approach it more as like what like who the people making the games are rather than like that's kind of the first focus, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm trying like it's gonna be okay, I'm prioritizing games that I know are like made by like queer people of color or like people who are not from like North America or like Europe or whatever. Or like at least not, like Western Europe.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And then that usually happens to be someone who's like one person doing it, but
Yeah.
that I don't know.
this reminded me of a case of there is two girls, Tiani Pixel and Fernanda, her partner. They are making this game called Unsighted. It's a very, very polished game. Two people working, but like it's clear that a lot of work has been done to
Did they just
polish
put out a
everything.
demo for that?
Yeah, exactly. It was also on E3.
Yeah, okay. My other managing editor at Uppercut streamed that demo. That game looked sick as hell.
Sick as hell, right? So, but she was saying on Twitter like a lot of people comparing the game with like with teams that are supposed to be indie too, but like with a way bigger budget, you know.
Yeah.
So she was feeling kind of bad about it, kind of down. So like because in the eyes of the consumer, it's indie and indie, you know, but the difference is gigantic, you know. It's like very big. So like Unsighted, comparing to like Skate RPG,
Yeah.
Skate RPG is like a fuck you game, you know. It's like you don't like it, fuck you. Oh, you like it, fuck you too. You know, it's like it doesn't really care.
Yeah.
But like Unsighted, it's like a lot of work has been done, and it shouldn't get a lot of praise. It's like two people doing it. Oh my god! But
Yeah.
and I'm seeing a lot of positive things about it. And thank God. But she was saying that there's like this comparison. They're like so unfair, you know, with people's
Yeah.
crazy
Well,
amount
that's
of
the hard
budget.
thing too, is like I feel like a lot of people jump from like, comparing two games based on like, like similar mechanics or art styles to then like, these games are the same. And it's like, no, like there's obviously like even like a recent example, right? Like Ender Lilies is very similar to Hollow Knight, but like Ender Lilies was not made on the scale that like a Team Cherry is working at, even though Team Cherry is also like a relatively small team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and I like if you make these, if we all sit down and if all video games sit down and we make these delineations, we say no, this is indie, this isn't indie, this counts and this doesn't. Like the question is anything gained by like knocking on Supergiant's door and saying no, you can't be indie anymore, you're too big? Does that mean like now all the real indies get the attention, or do they just or is like a new word just adopted to like the funded indies, and that kind of like becomes the like I guess game journalism or game coverage is also in a weird spot because like video game creation itself, it grew up in an age where it never got to wield it didn't have much time to like wield the cool critical pressure that other mediums had. Maybe had like a 2-year window where it's like a game critic could really decide a game's fate, but now it's like they've got to chase the trends as fast as everyone else can. And it's like I guess you can be like a really popular streamer and make Among Us big, but like
The thing I think is really interesting is like, I don't know. I think there's something to be said for like if like you're an indie dev and you can find like a person who's like influencer adjacent that like, will talk up your game, like not in like I don't know, like a shitty corporate way, but just in like this game rules. Cause like I know like just talking about games that I like on my Twitter feed has been enough to get like some folks who follow me to try them.
yeah, so let me tell you about Umurangi Generation.
Yeah.
Which I've heard a lot about.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is a game that made me very motion sick. But a lot of people really, really like it, and it seems very special. So for those who are not affected by such issues, it's definitely something worth checking out, especially because it's on Switch now, too. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's funky. I think about that a lot. It's hard because I think, like, influencers are kind of necessary, but I wish there was a way to make it more natural or like less, I don't know, like advertisey.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, hey, this is a cool thing I like.
Yeah, I think some of it is even like we need to divorce ourselves from like everything being mega hits or not, like that kind of like giant valley where you're either a complete failure or like you're like a super successful mega hit. And we need like, you can work dive bars and survive off of that. What's the video game equivalent of like just touring your local circuit and living off of that? Is there such a thing?
I mean, I guess that's probably like something in the realm of like a Kit Fox, right? Like they're They publish with Pillow Fort, but like they do their own thing. They keep making games, but they're not like, you know, they're not an Among Us. They're not fucking what's it called? The little jelly bean guys.
Ah.
Ball guys.
Oh, listen. If I like to have fun about what is called an indie was, and Fall Guys is not an indie game, folks. That's the Indiepocalypse stance. There's like 1,000 people working at that studio.
Yeah. You know what I mean though, like an overnight hit type
yes,
deal.
Yes, I know what you mean. But
yeah, no, I know Mediatonic is is a much bigger
That
studio,
thing always bugged me. That whole game always had like fucking Steve Buscemi fellow kids vibes to me. But that's just me personally.
It's like pretty fun for a while, but the Slime Climb got rolled way too often, and it was bullshit.
Yeah, I sorta didn't play it and just
Skin.
saw it from outside.
I liked the little outfits for the guys.
The Fall Guys game made me wish Takeshi Castle game, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the same idea, but like with Big Takeshi and like
Yeah, well, because I guess
humiliated
that's
the
like
players.
what it was kind of based on, but
Yeah.
they obviously couldn't do the whole shebang of that. Fall Guys was fine, but at any rate, what were we talking about?
Who knows?
The valley between mega hit and complete failure.
Oh yeah, I feel like I don't know. Kit Fox is kind of the only one I can think of that's like kind of in the middle. But now we're gonna see what happens because they've got a lot of attention for Boyfriend Dungeon.
Yeah.
So we will see.
It's weird because before Sketch RPG, and before the big collaborative bundle Spook Station, I tried to make a game more like a lot with this mainstream indie vibe, you know. It's called Super Plataforma Gun, and I sent so many emails to publishers to funding and everything that I think there was a shot, but I was like, it was like the indie scene saying, no, not this game. Like I received so many nope emails that I was like actually got used to with time. And then Sketch RPG actually gave me more money than Super Plataforma Gun. And there was like I didn't even think there was like they receive any money at all from Sketch RPG, but I received way more than the game that I tried to make money off.
And that's what I think that's what it is. I think there is somewhere on the corpses of all these failed massive projects, there is that beautiful middle space in that valley where you can just make a little bit of something, making the stuff you want. And I think people are slowly like gravitating towards that idea of like, because listen, people in every other art form love that like shit that nobody talks about, but like is the thing that they like, and it doesn't fit into the mainstream, but it's not like.
Yeah, it's weird that in gaming the mainstream is like the
whole stream.
it was considered to be the thing by the gamers. Like in movies, the people they watch a lot of movies. They are big fans of the cinema. They used to like the avant-garde stuff, you know. But in gaming, the avant-garde stuff, the alternative, the weird shit, it's like in the margin of the things. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. I feel like that's especially true. I think in music, people always want that weird avant-garde, something to recommend to their friend that they haven't heard before.
Yeah.
You know? Whereas like games, like maybe not so much.
I feel like it's just because like games is like so much younger, but also too just like came up so purely with enthusiast like press as the main coverage.
Yeah.
Like the idea of of game critics, right, is like fairly new.
And like arguably not even solidified yet.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like, right, there was kind of a moment before I started of this, like, critical blogosphere that had, folks like Austin Walker started there, Gita Jackson started there, Cameron Kunzelman started there. Um, and like that was, you know, in the like late 2000s.
Yeah.
So there's just been not that much time, I feel like, and also, you know, early game magazines were like, look at these tits in video games. So
Yes. Yes, early game magazine. They're in 3D now. Wow.
yeah,
Hopefully,
so
yeah. It's always been. I thought like I thought for a while the original friction between like, I can't believe that the whole gamers they're stealing our video games was like, it was the critical, like what traditionally would be like the enthusiasts, like the passionate audience was running up against like the gaming enthusiasts, which was like basic ass people who liked I don't know, Call of Duty, and that's like, yes, I'm a true enthusiast because I like Call of Duty.
well, and there was, I mean, the original people who were doing this were those people,
Yeah.
and then like it's been a weird shift that then was a fucking shit show when Gamergate happened because most of the people who were in the games press and who were in power were still part of that old guard bullshit.
Yeah.
And they didn't do anything.
No, and then some of the people who are doing like the critic work were like, nope, I'm gonna go do something else.
Yeah.
I'm going to delete my Twitter account and become a community manager or a writer or work in a different field that isn't so openly full of shitheads. I mean, not that every field is full of it, but they're less brazen about it, perhaps.
Yeah, it's just yeah, the landscape for games and like the conversations around them I feel like is very weird and like fragmented too a lot.
Yeah. It's a whole weird mess, and I mean, it's part of why I like try to like skate around it the best that I can. I'm like, what if I just make my own weird little thing divorced from the ecosystem of games, but also, dear ecosystem of games, please give me coverage, even though I try to avoid it where I can. And like, I don't know. I'll email GameSpot, but I don't care about them. Sorry, GameSpot. I'm sure there are nice people there.
There are a lot of actually very solid people there.
I think it's all like a big mess of.
Oh,
like,
absolutely. The corporate structure at GameSpot is not great. But
now did it just? Well, they just got sold like again. So
yeah,
who knows what they are now?
But there's a lot of cool people there.
They're owned by like a wellness blogger or something. Who knows?
I think it's similar to like every big company on the capitalism. Is like the employers want to do something cool and nice and welcoming, and by this thing has to pass through like the editorial meeting and the big guys and producers with the money, and they say no, and so it doesn't happen. It's like
and you also have
to a lot of the parent companies that own media sites are really fucking awful. Just what it comes down to.
And you also make sure you fit in your. You can have like your write-ups you want to do, but fit them in between your 30 Marvel TV write-ups that I want from you. Yeah. Thank you. I need a Loki recap on my desk by tomorrow morning, or you can't write about video games.
Oh, no. If you're doing a Loki recap, you're writing that shit as the episode is aired because it needs to be out.
Sorry, I always forget that my takes need to be instantaneous at the moment.
Yeah, no. Anybody doing recaps, God bless, because that's a lot.
I hear
that shit's a lot.
I hear it's like someone did Legion, but not good, and then they shoot lasers. Anyway. Yeah. Whatever. Let's superheroes get out of here. I don't care about them. Anyway, we're approaching this show. We're cresting 2 hours, folks. I'm trying to keep these brisk for people who listen to them because When I started, they were like 4 hours long. And I'm like, shit, dude. That's so long. This isn't like I'm not Dan Hardcore History, whatever his name is. I forgot his last name. Where you can put out 6 hour long podcasts because people want to listen to serfdom explained to you in great detail. But anyway, we're closing, we're ending. But we're not ending before the important thing, which is to say we need plugs around the circle. Everyone. So I'm going to start using the my thing here that everyone can see at home. And Ty, what have you got to plug for the people?
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Awothkeeper, and it's
How would
spelled
you-
exactly how you imagine.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you're right. It is exactly how I would imagine.
Yeah, if you sound it out, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And then we're currently taking a little summer vacation to preserve our brains. But if you want to check out Uppercut, you can go to uppercutcrit.com or .gay, whichever you prefer. And we have tons of coverage of various video games, both AAA and various kinds of indie, along with podcasts and such, and also an interview with Andrew about this here Indiepocalypse.
Fuck, that sounds interesting, folks. You could read. You should go to that website and be like, I'll read all the other stuff, and then maybe I'll read this thing about Andrew. But if you're here, you already know what Indiepocalypse is, so fucking read the other stuff first, folks.
But yeah, that's
perfect.
that's it. Oh, I'm gonna be speaking of indie games. I'm also gonna have a review of Raptor Boyfriend from Rocket Adrift up on the site soon when that game comes out. So
Okay.
yeah,
Perfect. Look forward to it, as they say. Michael and John. Let's go first. Michael first. What have you got to plug?
I don't really have too much right now.
Okay,
I mean,
John. What have you got to plug?
Oh my god.
Sorry, I got a little. I'm getting a little punchy at the end. Michael, what have you got to plug?
Well, it's not much to Andrew, but you can follow me on Twitter at Too Much Tomato. I'm keeping like a devlog on there as I'm working on this next puzzle game about that little robot on the space station. And John, do you have anything?
Well, there is the Machines Garden Twitter, but it's not very active right now since I'm working at a startup with the aforementioned ASD therapy stuff.
Okay, well, I will just where's. Now, where might someone say find these games where they could look for them?
Are you talking about? Okay, well, it's a startup called Florio Tech. If you have a child or you are someone with autism spectrum, or even if someone ADHD, stuff like that, then it's a product that is supported by Medicaid, and I just like it because it's doing creating some social good in the world.
Perfect.
Floriotech.com, I guess.
Daniel, what have you got to plug?
Okay, first on my Twitter, it's Daniel Dante Dev. So Daniel Dante, like the Devil May Cry series, Dev is just DEV. And I'm actually making a game with two friends. We make this little group called Espresso Studios, and we're making a game called Nami. Nami is like it's a horror game that is based on the Brazilian coast and also on Junji Ito works. So heavily influenced by like Uzumaki, Tommy, and a bunch of one shots that he did with Brazilian beach twists. So if you think that you like something like that, and there's a Steam page for Nami with a demo on it, and also each page. It's just go to my and itch.io page. There you find the Nami in there, Skate RPG there, and many little micro projects. There's the Espresso Studios Twitter, the EXP Games Studios.
There you are. Found it.
There you're gonna find a lot of GIFs from Nami and things like that. So yeah, I think that's it. My Twitter and Skate RPG, and right now Nami. There's like the next big thing that I'm working on with a couple of pals of mine. So yeah, that's it.
Perfect. We are out here plugging. I feel like a real podcast. I went out here plugging their Twitter profiles. It's like I'm on an entertainment podcast with comedians. It's because the only place I hear Twitter plugs. But for my part, I would say, hey, folks, go buy Indiepocalypse. I like it. It's a good one. Buy issues 8 and 14. They're good ones. Some of the people here may be biased towards those.
But the cover,
is there like a bundle of all of them?
I do host a bundle during sales where you can buy all of them and get one free. So it's like, okay. How much is that? Like at this point, that's like over $200, I think. But yeah, wait, there would be $10, one free. So yeah. Next, we'll keep an eye on the next itch sale. There will be a bundle for probably at that point. Yeah, it's probably like $200. You get them all.
Okay.
The cover of the
I just like the convenience of just being able to buy all of something at once.
Yes. If you listen, folks, if you've got as of right now 107, maybe I should just make like a forever bundle that I just keep adding to. Yeah,
I feel like if you were, if I would purchase
omnibus.
Such a bundle.
Yes, yeah. I should. I mean, I do.
The Indiepocalypse Bible.
Yeah. I do technically have one that I use for the press. That's their free version. So like where it is like all of them. Oh shit, that would just take forever to upload. That's the main problem. Or because I don't know if you can add games to a bundle after the fact. I'm not sure. I'd have to check. Anyway. Yeah, but listen, everyone.
Keep your eyes peeled for the future Indiepocalypse bundle.
Maybe if you go to indiepocalypse.com/pledge on September 3rd, I will be hosting the first annual Indiepocalypse Pledge Drive in honor of issue 20 of Indiepocalypse. With folks, our goal is, hey, let's make our money back, in which we try and I add hosting a 8-hour live stream to my resume as I host a 8-hour live stream for the noble cause of getting myself paid.
Yeah.
Listen, folks, I get that like indie spirit encourages and like kind of gravitates towards people who have willing and earnest and empathetic and really like honest, good people. But sometimes you got to get yours, You can't always do stuff for other people. Sometimes you need to eat your own food and live under your own house. Don't be ashamed of the fact that you need money sometime. Pretending you don't live in a capitalist society doesn't make it go away. Even if you don't like it, you're still in it. So fucking take their production and use it for yourself. Anyway, like I was saying, speaking of coming next month, I think, probably, is the very first bonus issue of Indiepocalypse, which I'm excited about, that I can talk about aloud now, because it's basically done, which is it's Indiepocalypse Cross Kush. Kush being a Latvian comic imprint that I collaborated with and made a bunch of games with all like the artists involved. And I have a rundown somewhere. I have to go to my Twitter because I don't remember all their names because they're very long. Where did I put it? Oh no!
I know that there is Natalie Lawhead.
Yes, Natalie Lawhead is involved. So the artists are Lotte Vilma Fitnia, Gvidas Parkalis, Nikita Lavresky, Yvonne Gail Sampleman Yvang, Kultitsi, Sis Ash, the Catamites, Natalie Lawhead, and Fiddlemouth are all, those were Twitter handles. Fiddlemuth being Amber, Ash being Ash K, Kotitsi being Kotisti. Anyway, and maybe 2 other people who, depending on whether games come together or not, will also be involved. Anyway, I'm very excited about it. I think it's a cool issue. It's like the shit I'm into, and I was surprised at how easy it was to put together. If you just came into this show and you're like, oh, nice, Indiepocalypse Radio, but you're like, oh, shit, I missed it. Why was I so late to the show? If you subscribe on Patreon at $5, you can just like listen to this show on Monday and listen to all the important stuff. How much do I talk about Jeff Rosenstock's Sky Dream? Not as much as you'd think.
Not enough.
Not enough, really. I mentioned during the break that I almost opened this show with Ohio Pork Pie as well. Because, holy shit, that song... I mean, Ohio Tea Pike makes you feel the same way also. But it evokes like a very specific feeling that makes you want to travel immensely. And, like, music makes you feel things, folks. Not to get too, like, your stoned friend in high school, but music makes you feel things, you know? It understands you in a way. It's like it's something you got to get out of you and into other people. And anyway, that's indiepocalypse.com/Patreon. If you subscribe at $15, you just get the zine. You don't. If like Ty, you don't like to buy things and don't like to think about those kind of things, and would like to get it conveniently delivered to you and charged without even having to click a damn link. It's not quite a bundle, but it's if you subscribe, after a while, it will basically be a bundle because you'll have them all without any effort, except the only effort of giving me $15 USD. At $25, I mail you a physical copy of the zine. I think they're cool. They have nice art on them. One person printed out the cover once when they contributed and framed it. I thought that was neat. It was a very good cover also. I think it was like 9, whichever one Leslie Supernova did. That's like 7 or 9, I don't remember. Anyway, I'm surprised I can remember so much of each issue and which numbering, and I think that's it. Hey, you know what? If you're signed up to Amazon Prime, smash that Prime button. Give me 3 of that Amazon bucks. I am an affiliate after all. I stream once a week, which is enough to earn me affiliate points, which is good enough for me. I'm going to leave this show now because I think I named... Oh, right. If you've got games, submit them. There's none submitted this month, really. Okay, I lied. There's 3 absolute bangers that got submitted, and then, like, nothing else. So that accounts for 5 games so far. So if you think you got a good game, get it in early. I'm going to leave you all with We Are the Union with Big River. Thank you all for being here. Goodbye.
Thanks, Andrew.
Bye.
Bye.